New Year's Eve had always been our tradition. Growing up, it didn't matter how chaotic life was, my parents always made sure we spent December 31st together. Mom cooked her famous slow-roasted lamb, Dad set up the fireworks in the backyard, and my siblings and I stayed up until midnight playing games, laughing, arguing, making memories. Even when I grew older, moved cities, built a business from scratch, and became too busy, I still flew home every single year. No matter how exhausted I was, no matter how cold the weather got, I showed up. But this year, something felt off. It started small, a missed call from Mom, a delayed message from Dad, a weird silence in the family group chat. I brushed it off. I was busy closing out my year-end investments and overseeing a project I had spent 3 years building, my private island resort. My pride. My blood work. My entire soul poured into 17 acres of crystal blue water and luxury villas. Still, I kept checking my phone. Normally, by mid-December, Mom would be spamming. Beta, flight book Kia? Hum sab intazar kar rahi hain. This year is special. But this time? Nothing. On the 26th of December, I finally texted. What's the plan for New Year's? Should I book flights? No response. I called. No answer. Called again. Straight to voicemail. A strange heaviness settled in my chest. I told myself not to overthink, but deep down, a whisper was forming. Something isn't right. On the 28th, my younger cousin, Zoya, accidentally sent a message meant for someone else. A photo. A beautifully decorated living room, filled with gold and white balloons, a neon sign that read Family New Year 2026, and a massive food setup. Underneath, her text. Everyone's coming. It's going to be perfect. I stared at the image. Then at the words. Everyone's coming. Everyone. Except me. Heart pounding, I typed back. What's this? She instantly deleted the message. But it was too late. I knew. I called her. She didn't pick up the first 3 times. Finally, she answered in a whisper. Please don't be mad. Zoya, I said, my voice barely steady, what's going on? She inhaled sharply. They're having a huge New Year's party. A big one. All relatives, all neighbors, everyone. They planned it weeks ago. And they didn't invite me? Silence. Then? Your mom said you were too busy these days, they didn't want to bother you. I closed my eyes. Not invited. Not included. Not even informed. And the worst part? They didn't even think I'd notice. I asked quietly, did they mention me at all? Another long silence. They said, you don't fit the family vibe anymore. You've changed since becoming rich. The words hit harder than I expected. As if success had made me a stranger in my own bloodline. After the call ended, I sat there, alone in my penthouse, surrounded by the luxury I once dreamed of. A view of the entire skyline glowing gold against the December night. A life built from nothing. A fortune earned through sleepless nights. A $7 million island bought with my sweat, my fear, my sacrifices. But none of it mattered at that moment. Because the one thing I didn't realize I had lost was my own family. The next morning, I tried calling Dad. He answered. His tone was casual, too casual. Oh, Beta. I was just about to call you. No, you weren't, I said gently. Why didn't you invite me? He exhaled loudly. You're successful now. You have your own life, your own commitments. We didn't want to pressure you into flying here again. You pressured me every year, I whispered. Why stop now? He hesitated. Then said something that shattered me more than anything before. We wanted a simple family gathering. No, complications. Complications. That's what I had become. Not a son. A complication. A burden. An inconvenience. I hung up without another word. And I sat in silence for a long, hollow minute, letting it sink in, letting every little memory play back in my mind like a cruel montage. The holidays I never missed. The gifts I brought. The bills I paid when Dad was jobless. The loan I secretly cleared for Mom's surgery. The house reno I funded. All forgotten. All dismissed. Because apparently, success made me too big for them, or maybe too uncomfortable to be around. For a moment, I felt that familiar sting, the old wound of being the child who was always responsible, always strong, always the one who didn't need love. But that feeling didn't last long. Because suddenly, another thought hit me. A stronger one. A calmer one. A colder one. They don't want me at their New Year's celebration? Fine. I'll host my own. But not just any party. A celebration so unforgettable. So grand. So beautiful. That the entire family would talk about it for years. And where would I host it? On the very island they never cared to visit. The island they didn't even ask me about. The island they assumed was too much luxury for a simple family like ours. My $7 million private island. And here's the twist they would never see coming. Everyone except my parents would be invited. Because if they wanted a year without me, they were going to get exactly that. In the most unforgettable way possible. And this time? I wasn't the forgotten one. I was the one who was finally done being forgotten. The morning after being excluded from my own family's New Year celebration, I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. If they didn't want me around? Fine. But the rest of the world? My cousins, my friends, my employees who stayed loyal for years. They had always shown me more love than my own parents ever did. So that afternoon, I opened my contacts list and started making calls. Not sad. Not bitter. Just calm. The first call was to my project manager. Ollie, get the island ready. Full celebration. Fireworks. Gourmet buffet. Live band. Everything. He paused. You want a New Year's event? That big? Yes, I said. And I want everyone who ever believed in me there. He didn't ask another question, he just got to work. Then I started sending invitations. Not to be flashy. Not to show off. But because something inside me needed this, needed to remember that I wasn't alone, that appreciation still existed in the world. Within 3 hours, I had 112 confirmations. Cousins I hadn't seen for years said. Of course. Can't wait. We miss you. You hosting on your island? Are you serious? Friends were thrilled. Business partners were honored. My employees were emotional. One of them said, Sir, I never had a New Year's party before. Thank you. That sentence alone filled a space in my chest my parents never tried to fill. By nightfall, helicopters were booked, luxury boats scheduled, chefs flown in from Portugal, fireworks ordered from Dubai, and a world-class stage setup arranged. My island was about to host its first event, and it wouldn't just be grand. It would be unforgettable. But as invitations spread, news reached the one group I hadn't contacted. My family. Zoya called first. Her voice trembling with excitement. You're hosting a New Year party? On your island? Please tell me I'm invited. I laughed softly. Of course. You are. Thank God, she said. Because here? Things are bad. My smile faded. What do you mean? She hesitated. Uncle. Auntie, they told everyone you were busy and not coming this year. But now people are talking, saying you're hosting a millionaire-level celebration. They feel embarrassed. Embarrassed? That was rich. So they didn't invite me, I said slowly, to avoid embarrassing themselves. And now, me hosting a party embarrasses them? Zoya whispered. They made it sound like you were the distant one. The absent one. Not them. Of course they did. They had spent years crafting the narrative where I was the independent one, the detached one, the one who didn't need anyone. Because it was easier to blame me. Then admit they never made space for me. But now? Now the truth was slipping through their fingers. More calls followed. Aunts saying, "We heard about your island. It looks amazing. We're so happy for you, Beta. We're grateful you invited us." Cousin sending laughing messages. "Your party is going to beat your parents' event by 1,000 miles. No offense, but your parents messed up." My guest list grew. Their pride shrank. By December 30th, preparations on the island were in full swing. The private villas glowed like golden lanterns along the shoreline. Candlelit pathways were built, flower arches erected, oceanfront seating arranged. A floating stage was prepared for midnight, designed to sit on the water itself. But something unexpected happened that evening. My phone rang. Dad. For a second, I considered ignoring it. But then I answered. He didn't waste time. "Beta," he began awkwardly, "we didn't know you were throwing such a big event." I waited. "We thought you were busy, so we didn't." "Stop," I said firmly. "You didn't invite me because you didn't want me there." He sighed heavily. "People are talking. They're saying it looks strange, you hosting something without inviting your family." I laughed, not out of humor, but disbelief. "So now you care about what people think?" Mom's voice suddenly appeared in the background. "Just invite us. Why are you making drama now?" Drama. That word again. Me standing up for myself equals drama. Them excluding me equals justification. Dad lowered his voice. "Your mother wants to come. We both do." For a moment, the weight of those words hit me. They didn't want me. They wanted to protect their image. They weren't coming to be with me. They were coming because others were going. Because my party was bigger. Better. Luxury. Prestige. Money. Not love. Not family. Not sincerity. So I said the calmest thing I had ever said in my life. "I'm sorry. The guest list is full." The silence on the other end was loud. Very loud. Then Mom snapped. "You're choosing outsiders over family?" I inhaled slowly. "No. I'm choosing the people who chose me." I hung up before they could say another word. It hurt. More than I wanted to admit. But it also felt right. For once. I wasn't begging for a place at their table. I was building my own. And this time? The table was on a private island, under the moonlight, surrounded by people who appreciated me, not people who tolerated me. As helicopters flew in and boats lined the dock, the island lit up with music, laughter, and life. And my parents realized something they never expected. By excluding me from their party, they had excluded themselves from mine. The night of December 31st felt unreal. My island glowed like a dream, lanterns floating on the water, music flowing through the warm breeze, laughter echoing across the shoreline. People hugged me, thanked me, celebrated with me. For the first time in years, I felt wanted. Not for money. Not for obligation. Just wanted. At 11:45 p.m., as everyone gathered near the floating stage, my phone buzzed. A message from Mom. We're outside your island. Let us in. My chest tightened. I walked toward the helipad, where security stood firm. In the distance, I saw them, my parents, standing beside a rented boat. Not smiling. Not happy. Just annoyed. Frustrated. Embarrassed. Dad called out. Beta. At least now, let us in. It's New Year's. Mom added sharply. People will ask why we're not inside. Do you want us to be humiliated? There it was. Not. We miss you. Not. We're sorry. Just. Don't embarrass us. I stepped closer, but not too close. I invited everyone who made me feel loved this year, I said calmly. You weren't on that list. Mom's face twisted. We're your parents. I swallowed hard. And parents don't exclude their own child from New Year's Eve, I replied. You made a choice. I'm making mine. They stared at me, stunned, angry, desperate. Then the fireworks crew called out. Sir. 1 minute to midnight. I took a step back. This year, I said softly, I'm starting fresh. With people who actually want me around. Mom shouted something, but her voice was drowned by the countdown echoing across the island. 10. 9. 8. Guests cheered. Lights sparkled. Music soared. 7. 6. 5. I turned away from the dock. 4. 3. I walked back toward the celebration, toward the life I built myself. 2. 1. The sky exploded in gold. People around me cheered, hugged, toasted. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel left out. I didn't feel forgotten. I didn't feel like a burden. I felt free. And as the fireworks reflected across the ocean, one truth finally settled in my heart. I didn't lose a family tonight. I simply stopped chasing the one that never valued me. Happy New Year, to me.